Hello pupils, you are welcome to this class. In this session, we are going to be dealing with the topic fractions. Fractions. Only the introductory aspects. Yes. What are fractions? Most of us have been dealing with fractions since we are in primary 1. I've been doing fractions primary 1, 2, 3 till primary 6 or JSS 1. And you are going to continue with fraction till you finish secondary school. So that means you have to really know so much about fractions because you have a long way to go with this topic. Now, what does fraction mean? Fraction means, if I should ask you to define fraction, you start telling me 1 over 2, 3 over 4, and all of that. Fraction is a number that is being used to represent a part of a whole number. So a fraction is a part of something that is complete. Yes, most of you have dictionaries. You can just go through your dictionary. Fraction is an English word. So a fraction is a number that is being used to represent a part of a whole number. A what? A part of a whole number. For example, this hand is part of my body. Right? This hand is part of my body. You can equally say this hand is a fraction of my body. A part of anything is a fraction of that thing. Are you getting it? A part of anything is a fraction of that thing. So fraction just means part. P-A-R-T. Part is a part of something. So part of the body, you can replace it with fractions of the body. If I take this cover of this marker out of it, this cover becomes a fraction of the complete marker. It's a part of the complete marker. Yes, that is what fraction talks about. Now we now come to the examples of fractions. You start giving me examples. You start telling me 1 over 2, say maybe 2 over 6, 3 over 5, and all of that. Different fractions. This is how fractions looks like when you write them in numbers. But in real life, fraction means part of a whole number. That is what fraction means. Fraction means part of a whole number. But when you are putting it down in mathematics, in numbers, you have to write it in this structure. And this is how the structure always looks like. It always looks like this. Numerator all over denominator. Are you saying it? That means if this 1 out of 2 is here, 1 over 2, this 1 is the numerator and this 2 is the what? Denominator. Part of a fraction. Now what do we call this? This slash, this line here, what do we call it? That line can actually represent so many things. The most popular name we know it as is what? All over. Yeah, that is the major name we know it as. All over. We say 1 all over 2, 2 all over 4. It is actually a division line also. We can call it divided by. You can say numerator divided by the denominator. You can also call it out of. You can say numerator out of the denominator. Are you getting it? You can either say numerator all over denominator, numerator divided by denominator, numerator out of the denominator. You can also decide to say numerator per denominator. P-E-R. Per. So out of all these, the ones we should be focusing on is these two. Divided by and out of. If you really want to know what fractions are, we divide these things, or you say it's out of something. Either you say 1 divided by 2, or you say 1 out of 2. Don't just say 1 all over 2, no. you won't understand it properly and you will get easily confused when you see questions. So these are fractions. Fractions are numbers that are used to represent part of a whole number, and it has structure. It has numerator and it has denominator. The number at the top of this division line is called the numerator, and the number under here, this denominator, is called denominator. I mean, the number under the slash line is called what? Denominator. And what I am suggesting you call this is divided by or out of. I'm going to tell you the reason why it's like that. When I say 1 whole over 2, you all know this signifies half, right? HALF. It signifies half. If 1 whole over 2 means half, and you want to replace this whole over by out of, you say what? 1 out of 2. Are you saying it? 1 out of 2. If I give you 1 out of 2, I have given you half of what I have. If I'm having 2 fingers and I give you one of the fingers, what is left is also left with 1, which means I have divided it by 2. Can you see? Divided by 2. Either you say divided by 2 or you say out of 2. 1 out of 2. Here means 2 out of 6. And this is 3 out of 5. That means you gave me 3 out of 5. Are you getting it? So fractions are numbers that are used to represent a part of a whole number. And it has a structure, numerator all over the denominator. And the numerator is at the top, the denominator is underneath. So when you are calling these divisions and you refer to it as divided by, or you refer to it as what? Out of. So that in the long run, there are sometimes you come across word problem. You shouldn't get too confused. Okay? So now, let's now talk about the names of fractions. We have seen this one. This is half, right? This is half. Another one we should see is 1 whole over 3. Let me wipe the board. You can have 1 whole over 2, which is what? Half. 1 whole over 2 is a fraction, 1 out of 2. Remember I told you fraction is a part of a whole number. So 1 whole over 2, 1 out of 2 is part. That means we took 1 part out of 2. You can also have 1 out of 3, and this is referred to as 1/3. You can have 1 out of 4, which will be referred to as 1/4. You can have 2 out of 5, which will be what? 2/5. So the major one you should understand is you should memorize is this half and this quarter. You see the rest. You just write the first number at the top of the fraction. 1, 1, 2, and the one underneath, you are going to be pronouncing it as if it is a position. You know position. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, like that. So assuming I have 4 whole over 7, you are going to pronounce this as 4/7. So this is how you pronounce fractions in words easily. Now let's go into the types of fractions. There are different types of fractions. In fact, more than 10 different types of fractions. But the ones we will be focusing on for the purpose of this session and for the class watching this, we are going to be focusing on 3 most important types of fractions. And I'm sure most of you must have known that we have the proper fractions, the improper fractions, and the mixed fractions, which are the most important ones. Yes, let me clean the board so that we'll talk about them one after the other. What are proper fractions? When you hear the word proper, what does it mean? Yes, when you go to the school and you are not really dressed well, you are not dressed properly, what does that mean? If your teacher starts telling you, my friend, dress properly, what does it mean? Proper, 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 in the right way, the way it is supposed to be. It will be making sense. Yes, dress in such a way that you look like someone that is reasonable and responsible. Not that you dress improperly, you fly your shirts, you know. So your teacher tells you, dress properly, sit properly, behave properly. So what does that proper means? We now bring that proper to fractions now. What are proper fractions? Yes, proper fractions are fractions that make sense. When you observe the fraction, you discover that, okay, this fraction is making sense. It's well arranged. Let me give you an example of what I'm telling you. Remember, we said in a fraction, we have numerator and we have denominator. Now, when I give you a fraction and I said example of a fraction is 1 out of 4, what does it mean? It means I divided something into 4 and I took 1 out of 4. I took 1 out of 4. That means this number here is telling me what? 1 out of 4, which is quite okay. This is proper. It's making sense. Why? Because I can actually take 1 from 4. If I should have 4 matches or 4 sticks, I can take 1 out of the 4 of them. It's making sense. It's something possible. It's proper. Are you getting it? This is how proper fractions look. That is, the denominator is bigger than the numerator, so that you can take the numerator out of the denominator. So the denominator is always bigger than the numerator in a proper fraction. But if you now look at it in a different way, let's say I now have 4 all over 3. What does this mean? This means 4 out of 3. 4 out of 3. It means I am taking 4 out of 3. Is it really making sense? Is it proper? I have 3 and I want to take 4 out of 3. How will I take 4 out of 3? No, let me know. I'm having only 3 and you said I should give you 4 out of the 3. It is not possible. It is not proper. It's not making any sense. So the moment you see a fraction, you have to observe the fraction. Okay, which one is the numerator, which one is the denominator? How do I pronounce this fraction? That is why I told you one of the reasons, not just everything, one of the reasons I told you to use out of. Yes, as we still continue, you are going to see other reasons. This is one of the reasons. So the moment you see a fraction, this is 2 out of 6. Oh, this is possible. This is making sense. I can carry 2 out of 6. Therefore, it is proper. But if you see 7 out of 4, 7 out of 4, no now, you cannot carry 7 out of 4. It's not possible, it's not proper. Therefore, 7 out of 4 would be improper. It would be improper. These are the major differences between proper fraction and improper, which means in the improper fraction, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Now look at it in the other perspective now. Assuming this is you and this is your headpan, and you are asked to take something of this nature. 4 people can easily carry 1 person. 2 of us, 2. 4 is bigger than 1. 4 can carry 1. But here, 3 cannot carry 4. 4 is bigger than 3. It's a different way of looking at it. For example, if you should have one box, can that one box carry one, two, three, four, five box on its head? It's going to be very, very improper. But if it is five under, one, two, three, four, five, and you are putting one at the top, this one is making sense, this one is proper. So you can see it from that perspective also. But the most important perspective that I expect you to see it from is from the fact that you are trying to take 4 out of 3, and it's not possible for you to take 4 out of 3. So whenever you see a fraction that is not possible, that is not making sense, just know that fraction is improper. And when you see the one that is making sense, that is possible, you know that this is a proper fractions. Now let me now put down the theoretical definitions in case I ask you during your assessment. So when you are defining it, you say a proper fraction is a fraction that has its denominator greater than its numerator. And you can give examples. Examples of fractions that the denominator is bigger than the numerator. Example is 2 out of 5. Yes, we can take 2 out of 5, is making sense. 3 out of 7 is making sense, and continuously like that. Then in the improper fractions, you say that the improper fractions are fractions, or the improper fraction, an improper fraction is a fraction whose denominator is smaller or whose numerator is bigger than the denominator. So this one is a fraction that has its numerator greater than its denominator, and you also give examples. For examples, imagine trying to take 8 out of 5. This is improper. Imagine trying to take 3 out of 2 is improper. Imagine trying to take 13 out of 5 is improper. So these are examples of improper fractions. These are the differences between proper fractions and improper. Remember I told you that I'll be focusing on 3: time factor and class level for now. So the last one we are going to be talking about is the mixed fractions. Yes, what is a mixed fraction? Let me just give you an explanation. A mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction. Understand me clearly. A mixed fraction has a whole number and a proper fraction combined together as one. It is being gotten from improper fraction. It is being gotten from what? From improper fractions. Let me write it down for you. Mixed fraction is a fraction So a mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction, not an improper fraction. It must be a proper fraction. A mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction. For example, you'll be seeing something like 2 whole number, and I'll now add one proper example of proper fraction. 3 out of 4. Yes, I can take 3 out of 4. So this is a mixed fraction. You don't write 2 whole number 4 over 3. This is not a mixed fraction. Okay? You cannot take 4 out of 3, so this is not a mixed fraction. You can either say 4 out of 8. I can say 7 whole number, 3 out of 9. Yes, this is a mixed fraction. So these are the three types of fractions I want us to understand very well. Others are there, you might even see them in the e-lesson note, but we'll be taking it step by step. The next thing we are going to be talking about before we end this session today is conversion between improper fractions and mixed fraction. Remember, I just told you that this mixed fraction are being gotten from this improper fraction. Improper fraction is not stable. Since it is not making sense, people are going to correct it. Yes, if you are not dressing properly, before you know it, one teacher is going to tell you, my friend, come, you are not dressing properly, you are dressed properly. That is what happened here. When the improper fraction is not proper, we will have to break it down so that we will now have a whole number and a proper fraction. Yes, the whole number and the proper fraction. Now it is now proper. It can now stay like this. But if it is like this, it's not going to stay long. Yes, so these are improper fractions. These are mixed fractions. Let me wipe the board. So I will show you how we convert from improper fractions to mixed fractions. And I will also show you how we convert from mixed fractions to improper fractions. Sit tight. Now, let's look at this final step of this very class. As time goes on, we are going to be looking at other aspects of fractions. But for now, let's look at how we convert these fractions. An example of an example of a mixed fraction is, let me say, 4 whole number. Remember, mixed fraction is a fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction. Example of proper fraction: 2 all over, or 2 out of, let me say 2 out of 3. So this is a mixed fraction. It's a mixed number. It has a whole number and a proper fraction. That is why we call it mix. We mix them together. We mix a whole number and a proper fraction together. How do we convert this back into improper fraction? Yes, there are 3 things we are going to do. Yes, 3 things. The first thing we are going to do, we are going to multiply 3 by 4. Yes, we are going to multiply like this. Multiply 3 by 4 and then you add it to the 2. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, what you do is what? 3 times 4 plus 2, like this. 3, then times 4, then plus 2. This is what you do. This is the first thing you do. So I'm urging you to write this down. Yes, I'm not sure I included something exactly like this on the e-lesson notes. Okay, so write this down right now. You can pause the video and just write this down. When I'm done with this first example, you can pause the video and write it down. So what you do is you go in a circular form, starting from the denominator. 3 multiplied by 4, and you say 3 multiplied by 4 plus 2 plus 2. Then you write your division sign all over. What is your denominator is 3, it will still remain 3. So this is how you convert. When you now add everything here, 3 multiplied by 4, 3 multiplied by 4, 3 multiplied by 1, 3 times 2 is 6, times 3 is 9, times 4 is 12. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 will give you 14 out of, you now bring your denominator back, out of 3. Therefore, this is your answer, 14 out of 3. Can you see that this is an improper fraction? You can't take 14 out of 3. That is why they converted it to this. So let's take a second example. Let's say we are having something like 2 whole number, 1 out of 5. This is a whole number and this is a proper fraction. Now we want to convert it. What do? We do 5 multiplied by 2 plus 1. I don't know if you are following. 5 multiplied by 2, then plus 1. Then out of our denominator is 5. Is it clear? Equal to, now you are going to do it. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. Out of, the 5 still goes. And you see that this is an improper fraction from this. So this is how you convert from mixed fractions to improper fractions. Now, how do you convert from improper fractions back to mixed fraction? That is where I told you that you will have to be using divided by as your slash sign, because the way you are going to convert it, when you are converting it, you have to do division. 14 divided by 3, 11 divided by 5. So before that, let me give you an example. Let's say we have 17 divided by 5. 17 out of 5 is not possible. Is it possible? No. What we do is now 17 divided by 5. So the moment you say out of and it's not possible, the next thing is to divide. Yes, we'll get better at that when we get to simplification of fractions. So 17 out of 5, 17 divided by 5. This is an improper fraction and it is not proper. Therefore, we have to convert it to what? To a mixed fraction that has a proper fraction. So what we do is we divide 17 divided by 5. Yes, when you divide it, 5, 10, 15, you get 3, remainder 2. Okay, you get what? 3, remainder 2. What you do, that answer you got, that 3, that whole number you get, remember it's what? 3, remainder 2. So this is how you are going to write it. It's going to be 3 whole number, remainder 2, abi, 2 over. Are you saying it? 3 remainder 2, 3 whole number 2, all over. The denominator you had before, denominator will never change when you are converting. You can see it was 3 here, it's still 3 here, and it's still 3 here. It was 5 here, it's still 5 here, and it's still 5 here. The same thing is 5 here, it will still be 5 here. It will be 2 out of 5. You see, we have converted it to what? Mixed fraction. So let's say we want to convert this mixed fraction back to improper fraction. What do we do? I've told you. We are going to do 5 multiplied by 3. Abi? 5 multiplied by 3 is what? 5, 10, 15. Then 15 plus 2. It will be what? 17. And can you see this is the 17 out of 5? Assuming we want to convert this one back to mixed fraction, we are going to say what? 11 divided by 5. 11 divided by 5, 5, 10. We get 2, remainder 1. 2 remainder 1 over the 5. 14 divided by 3, we get 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, remainder 2. And that is how you get the 4 remainder 2 over 3. So this is how you convert between mixed fractions and improper fractions, depending on what you are asked to do. Remember, the reason why one of the reasons this is pre-recorded video is so that you can go over the videos over and over again in case you need to do some revisions. Don't just watch the video once and just forget about it. You can watch, you can rewatch and rewatch, and get better at what you are doing. Is that taking? So for now, we are going to stop in this class. In our next session, we are going to be talking about equivalent fractions, possibly operations on fractions like addition and subtraction, even plus multiplication and division of fractions. For now, I'm going to say a wonderful bye to you and see you in the next class.